My name's Lloyd, and today we're taking a look at all the things you are. We've already looked at it from the perspective of a chord melody style, and we also did an analysis of the chord progression. So you may want to go back and take a look at that video. This is like a group of two videos basically looking at the same tune. Today what we're going to do is look at that analysis as it takes place in real time and try to come up with a harmonic map. Now this arrangement here, as you can see, if you can see, has D flat 7 raised 9 as a starting chord, and then a C 7 with a raised 9. It's sort of a cool chromatic movement. That C7, the role it plays is as the 5 chord leading to the F minor. Yeah, you can see that. Okay, so leading to the F minor, and then this F minor is, as I said in the first video, this F minor is a 6. This is a 2. This is the 5. This is the 1. The first resolution point. Then 4. Then we have a 5-1 with this modulation that goes to the C major. Then we have the parallel minor, little trick played with the parallel minor, and we have the same progression again, except in a different key, 6, 2, 5, 1, 4. And then the same deal with 2, 5, 1 in a new key. So far, we've gone through one key of A flat, one key of C major, one key of E flat, and one key of G major. Then we stay on G major for 4 measures, and then move to E major, 2, 5, 1 in E major, with a little turnaround going back to the same thing we had at the beginning, 6, 2, 5, 1, 4. And then we begin a cycle down to the tonic. I'm going to do a couple of chord replacements here as we play because they sound a little better. So let's start at the top, and I'll just play through the chords. I'd like you to hear them, and then we'll take it further than that. Just keep it simple. 6, 2, 5, 4, 5, and 1. 6, 2, 5, 1, 4, and 1. 5, 1, 5, still in G. 2, 5, 1 in E, turning to 6, 5, 1, 4. 4 minor's better. And 2, 5, and 1. And so you get the idea. Okay, what we're going to do is sort of harmonic map our way through the tune, playing simple scales and recognizing each of these keys. We start with the key of A flat. and then move to the key of C, and then move to the key of E flat, and then move to the key of G, and we stay in the key of G. And then we have 2-5 in E flat. Now what I'm going to do is just play the chords with fills like that, right? And the fills, and that's what I'd like you to do. So in this case, I'm thinking of A flat. I'm just all in A flat. C. So let's just take a look at this from the top. Just count your way through this. And start with the chords. 4. C. And 5, 1, 4, G, 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 major, and we're back. I'm assuming you sort of heard the idea there. So what I'm doing is I'm recognizing the chords. If you've heard the first video, you should be hearing in your head. All right, and then I'm just filling. So underneath this chord, A flat, still, A flats, A flats, and C, C minor, E flat, the 4 chord, 2, and 2, 5, 1, all in G, 2, 2, 6, 2, 5, 1, 4. And that's a D flat minor, and then C minor. I'm using an E7 with a raised 9 here, and then 2, 5. And there's my 5, and then resolution to the 1. And then 2. And then back to the 1. And so on, right? So the point being here, when you do a harmonic map like this, and I'm sort of pinning down the chord progression at the same time. So what we're doing is just... my next key, right? So when you go through a tune like this, you have to map it out. Do not, for instance, just bring up a play along track like this, which I'll pin in the description below. This is a decent one. It's a nice tempo. That's why I picked it. Yeah, you don't want to just jump into a tune that modulates 5 times without doing the prep work, like finding out where the melody is, finding out where the tonal centers are, finding out where the resolution points are. Here's a resolution point, here's a resolution point, here's a resolution point, and here's another resolution point. There's those 5 keys, 1, 2, 3, 4, and here's 5 right here, right? So pick out those resolution points. There's other things that are sort of cool to notice. For instance, when I was sort of prepping and this tune, I thought, well, that's a cool change. Really, what's happening here is you go from a D flat major to a C major, so it's just a chromatic semitone. So that makes things easier to recognize something like that. And the same thing happens again here. There's A flat major moving to G major, and just a chromatic movement. And then we stay on that G major. So in fact, we're in G major for 6 whole measures. Whoopee in this tune. And so melody, harmonic mapping, work your way through comping the chords. Take your time comping the chords. This session, I've only been looking at harmonic mapping. You can also challenge yourself and just go through every root of every one of the chords, just single note line roots, and work up from there. Check out some of my other videos where we look at that method to build a solo. In other words, you're spelling out each chord, and it's a pretty great method because especially in a chord progression that's interesting and complex, fairly complex like this one, it's cool to define the chords because they're so rich already, right? There's so much harmonic interest there. If you want to adopt this tune, it's a good one to adopt. You'll have to play through it a bunch of times. I played once with a nice piano player from down in the States somewhere, and I was talking to someone, and I said in a club, and I said to a fellow asked me, excuse me. Man, that was really great. That was a great set. How do you do that? How do you improvise over tunes like that? And I said, well, just a lot of repetition. I said, I take a tune and I probably repeat it 50 times before I, take it to the point where I want to perform it. And the piano player walked by and he said, 50? Man, I do like probably 200. And so, that, and I had a classical teacher once who said, now, what you're doing is great. You're really on the road to playing this, and now you just have to do repetition. And I remember when I was going home after that lesson, I thought to myself, repetition, yeah. Well, how many times, right? That's sort of a key. In order to really play through a tune like this really effectively and really know it well, yeah, I would concur with that player whose name just slips my mind right now. I would concur that, yeah, 100 times. And you can, but take it from different angles. Look at it from the chord progression perspective. Look at it from the harmonic mapping. Memorize the melody, memorize the progression. On and on. Each one of those is a different exercise. Okay, cool. That's it for today. Thanks for stopping by. Like, subscribe, leave me a comment. I really appreciate them. Or a question. I really appreciate those too. And I answer every one of them. All right, best to you all, and we'll see you real soon.